morning, we are Bright Future Consulting. I'm Jess, and I act as the communications person for our group, and I am a business administration major with a minor in computer science.
My name is Optimist. I'm the accounting finance person, major in business administration with an emphasis with a minor in accounting management.
I'm Sahil. I am the IT person for our group, and I'm a business admin major.
I'm Catherine. I'm the marketing person, and I'm an international business major.
So for our presentation overview, we will be going over first our client, which is the Optimist Club of Malibu. Then we'll remind you about our objectives, go through our initial research, and then each person will delve into the objectives a little bit more, and then we'll go through what recommendations we have based on our research. So first, our client is the Optimist Club of Malibu, and their main goal really is just to bring out the best in kids. They're so passionate about providing hope and positivity for these children to develop into their best selves, and that's why they call themselves Friends of Youth. This is the slogan that they have on their website. And so the picture that we see here is actually in the fireside room. So this is where they have their weekly Thursday meetings to talk about things going on in the organization. And these specific people are the most recent scholarship recipients. Each year they give out scholarships of $1,000 to graduating high school seniors. But one thing about them is, so they have about 35 total members, but of those only 12 to 15 are active. So this is an area of opportunity that we saw that we could help them with. And for our objectives, we have two main objectives, but under the membership umbrella, we have two different categories. So the first one we focused on was recruitment, so this is just getting new people. And then the second one was retainment. So for the people that are there, how can we get them to stay and to stay engaged and to be active in the organization for as long as possible. And our second objective is marketing. So this is just really coming up with a social media campaign for them to use, whether that includes a calendar or just better use of Facebook or Instagram. And for our initial research, so we looked a lot at the demographics in two different sections. So the first one is specifically for membership recruitment. And according to the U.S. Census Bureau, the average population over the last 5 years of Malibu has been about 12,815. And then the median age here is 52.2, which is a little bit inconvenient for what they want because they are seeking, like their target audience is mainly Gen X and millennials for new recruitments. However, in their organization, of those 35 members plus their board of directors, they're mainly in the baby boomer generation, which is 54 to 74. So we're really trying to target this 24 to 53 age range. And one way we thought that they could do that is we looked up all of the schools in Malibu, and there are only about 12, 3 of which have a parent-teacher association, which is these 3 listed: Webster, Juan Cabrillo, and Point Dume. So what we did in our binder was to put all of the contact information for those organizations so they could reach out to the president or the secretary or someone and then try to either get in on a meeting and explain what their organization does, because ultimately they help the kids, right? Like maybe one day one of these parents' kids can benefit from a scholarship or maybe join the organization one day. And then the second part of demographics that we took a look at was focusing on the recipients. So there are only 2 schools that have high school students, which is Malibu High School and the McKenna Learning Center. But the McKenna Learning Center has 8 students total, so perhaps they don't even have a graduating senior this year. So their focus really is Malibu High School, and according to demographics, roughly a couple hundred people would be in that age range. So they don't have too many people to choose from, but I think it's important for them to make contact with this organization so that maybe one day these students can share the impact that the Optimist Club of Malibu has had on their organization and share testimonies and get the word out about how helpful they've been.
Okay. As the first objective, we have increasing members, recruitment, and retention. The main problem is that year by year these rates have been decreasing for the Optimist Malibu Club, and it has been such a bad result for them because they want to make an impact in the community, and because of these rates decreasing, they don't have that much active involvement in the community. The solutions we have come up with based on research, and especially from an article from George Coogan, he states 4 motives that will increment and increase these retentions and recruitment rates. The first motive is the pursuit of career benefits. For the pursuit of career benefits, volunteers are usually looking for growth in their careers. So the way we can do this first motive is through unpaid internships and also connection with other organizations. The second motive is the expression of humanitarian value. The same article from George Coogan says that 40% of the people who volunteer joins the organization because they want to express how they impact the community positively. So by the showing of facts and data from the nonprofit organizations, they're encouraging people to become members and especially to stay, which is retention rates. The third motive is the search for knowledge and understanding. The key word right here is mentorship. Why? Because volunteers are looking for growth, for learn something and find persons where they can lean on and be guided through their career's expectations. And as the last and important motive, we have enhancement of individual sense of self-worth. People want to be acknowledged. People want to know what they're doing good in their organizations. And nonprofit organizations, by doing acknowledgement, they encourage people to stay and to get more involved through their activities and have success.
So our second objective under the membership section is improving membership engagement. Basically, the problem is that many of their members aren't actively involved in the organization's events. Like we said, they have a meeting on Thursday mornings, and that's at 7 a.m., and only about 12 to 15 members show up every week, and majority of those are actually members who are on the board. So basically the issue is just trying to find a way to motivate the other members to come out to more of their events. And some of the events are really fun. They're like pancake eating competition, and like the oratory competition is pretty interesting too. And they used to have fairs, but a lot of these events don't even happen anymore because they haven't been able to get enough people to come out to the events and help organize them. So I looked into member expectations and what the members are looking for to get out of the organization, and the top 3 for nonprofit events, for nonprofit organizations is job opportunities, scholarships, socializing, and certifications. And these certifications are just kind of just like more like a recognition of like stuff that they've done that they could maybe improve on their resume, which is what shocked me because I thought the main thing that people would be looking out of is to try and help the community. And as is like another infographic there, actually included in that is the comparison between what the top outcome expectations are for members and then from the organization. And there's kind of a clear like difference because members are looking for a lot of personal growth, whereas what the organization expected was they're hoping that they can, just like help the community. And then I also looked into generational differences, and something that shocked me was that 49% of the people who join nonprofit organizations are within their first 5 years of working. So they're generally categorized in the millennial generation. And actually 27% of millennials end up leaving the organization in their first 5 years because they feel like they're not involved and engaged and not getting anything out of it. Boomers and mature generations are more valuing the code of ethics, which is what we traditionally understand in nonprofit organizations, what we expect. But there's a clear shift in millennials being, I don't want to say selfish, but kind of looking for personal benefits from the organization. So I then continued to do some research and found out that the main competition in Malibu for the Optimist Club in terms of gaining similar members that they're looking for is the Rotary Club. And basically the Rotary Club is similar in what it does. It still has humanitarian efforts, and they're trying to benefit the community. However, they're still putting some kind of prioritization on personal and business professionals just like coming together and making personal connections, and so they can benefit and foster a good community out of it. And so they're kind of using it as a tools for like networking, even though they're still going to be involved in the cause of the organization. I looked at 3 approaches on how to directly impact the membership engagement, and one of them was improving the communication between members and on the board, and then regular members, and then the community. And members need to be frequently updated on what exactly is going on within the organization, so that they feel that they have a part to play and they know exactly what is going on and are more likely to come to events. A lot of this data that I found was that members are not sure exactly what is going on, and so they just don't end up coming to their events. Community building, this kind of touches on the developing and fostering a community. Membership organizations are unique in that they gather individuals of similar, who have similar interests and shared values and goals, and so it's a great opportunity for the community to work together and benefit from that. So making more initiatives to foster that community is going to be important in helping them keep members engaged. And then the member renewal process, it was included in the infographic on the previous slide, but a lot of the issue of members leaving the organization is because they don't even know that they were supposed to renew, and they aren't kept in communication about what's going on. And so they just tend to forget, and their interest starts to slightly drop in the organization. But the member renewal process is very important in like reigniting the interest that they have of their members, because it's an opportunity to show appreciation and thank you for providing like dues to the organization and also for the work that they do. It's an easy way, like excuse to contact the members of the organization.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about how the Optimist Club can use social media, specifically Facebook, to market and increase their membership and engagement. So as we already talked about, our target audience is going to be primarily Gen Xers, given the median age of Malibu, and 75% of people in this generation, or in this Generation X age group, actually use social media. And then the most popular social media that they use is Facebook. And 78% of people aged 30 to 49 use Facebook, and 64% of people aged 50 to 64 use Facebook, according to a Pew Research Center study. There's also a mental health study that shows that parents are more likely to use social media than adults without children, which fits into our other demographic of looking at the PTAs at the high schools. So the Optimist Club already has a Facebook. However, there's a lot of different ways that we found that they can improve their Facebook and use it in a way that will help their marketing. So first of all, research shows that higher post frequency leads to increased page likes, and it's very important to engage followers in by posting different types of posts to build a sense of community, provide information, and also call their followers into action, which basically tells them to do something more than just like the post, like for instance, share it or comment on it. And the visuals play a very important role in attracting and maintaining active following. Photos and videos are statistically more likely to be shared than posts that only have text or links. And then there's a couple different ways that I came up with that they could incorporate visuals into their page. The first one would be creating an album of the photos and videos that they took during their events. Secondly, they could create free, attractive digital flyers and infographics using a website called Canva. And I provided an example of an image for their essay writing contest. Very easy to make and definitely draws in the eye. And then another idea would be having monthly member spotlight posts, which would highlight a member of the organization, including their photo, name, history of involvement with the club, professional experience, a word of advice, and a fun fact. And this would help for a connection to be built between the club and their online community, allowing followers to put a friendly face to the organization, as well as allowing potential new members to see where the hearts are of the people who are involved in this community and who they would be spending time with if they were to join. And then Facebook has the ability, you can create events on Facebook. So I think that the club should create an event on Facebook every time they host an event, and this will help to spread awareness to a wider audience and put it on people's calendars so they don't forget about the events. And then for each event, they should create a digital flyer using Canva with the event name and information. They can also create a content calendar, and there's an example of a content calendar on the slide. And this will help them to visualize and plan out what they want to post on their page. And basic content calendar templates can be downloaded online for free. And then finally, there's a feature on Facebook called Facebook Ads, which allows users to easily create ads that can show up on the mobile format for Facebook, as well as desktop format on news feeds or on the side, which can be used to advertise events or just encourage users to like their page, and a sample post of what it would look like if one of these ads were in someone's news feed is on the side. And yeah, that's all.
Okay, so we're going to go through our recommendations for each section. So first, from mine with their demographics and target audience, one thing that we thought of is their breakfast meetings are held at 7:45 a.m. on Thursdays, and they're about 2 hours long. So this isn't super conducive for parents or other adults who have busy working schedules, so we thought maybe if they would figure out a way to adjust meeting times that would benefit all of them, or that more people could come and join. And then one other thing is we specifically focused on the Malibu demographic, so this was taking a look at the PTA and forming those lists for them. We also included all of the other schools and their information in case they wanted to give them a call, do a lunch and learn, or just talk to the principal or somehow get into a meeting with other parents there. And then lastly, we think it's very important to keep this active communication, like what Sahil was talking about with engagement. We think the best way that they're going to recruit and retain is to keep talking to them.
Okay, for the recommendations for objective number 1 is to provide new opportunities for members through unpaid internships. This is going to be the motive of pursuit of career benefits, which is going to benefit members through their career expectations. Second recommendation is utilize incentives. How? Giving gift cards, prizes for members who bring new members to join the club and to stay being active in the community. The third recommendation is the collect testimonials of previous beneficiaries to share this information with the community. The purpose of this is by having an impact in the community, they have to collect this information in order to spread the word and to show what they're doing, to show how they're beneficiating the community and their positive impact. And as last recommendation is to create leadership positions within the organization who are specifically tasked with developing programming for new members.
As it's pretty obvious, a lot of our recommendations tie into social media because that's the most effective way to promote the organization. Some research that I did led me to find this app called Your Membership. It's an association management system software that basically kind of collects all the data of members and can be used to automatically send out emails and communications when events are happening. It also has kind of like a Facebook-style platform where you can create groups, and so the community itself can all be on like the group, and they can just like it kind of fosters the community spirit, and they can talk and communicate about all kinds of things on the group. It doesn't have to be strictly about the efforts that the organization is doing. It can just be like, oh, I'm going to dinner here. It would be great if anyone wants to join me, and then they can just meet up, and that kind of just makes the members feel more engaged with the other people in the group, and can increase the likelihood that they'll show up to more of the other events. So as I mentioned, event reminders, membership renewal reminders, and important information reminders can all be sent. They can also be sent through like push notifications, so it can just show up straight on your iPhone, like a Facebook notification, just be like, oh, reminder, there's a meeting this day. Another thing is to arrange more in-person events and workshops. This could be, it's one thing that members should feel valued, that they can contribute, but they should also feel comfortable coming to the board of directors, knowing that if they have any concerns, they should be able to pass those on. And so I think it's important to have some kind of workshops to make sure the organization is always improving, especially being such a small organization right now. And some of the events that they have, as I mentioned, they have the Pancake Festival and a tennis tournament, but a lot of these are no longer hosted because there's not enough members to come. However, it's kind of like a cycle where if the events don't happen, then the members don't come to the events, and then they just become less and less involved. So I think it's important to bring back a lot of these events. I know that they mentioned the last time that they did a huge recruitment effort was about 10 years ago, which kind of shows that like in the last 10 years when they had a lot of members, around 100, now they're at 35, it shows why they've dropped so drastically. And so an idea I had for one of these events is pretty simple. It's just like maybe like a New Year's cocktail party. I think that's something that can be turned into a fundraiser, and similar to how we have coffee houses and stuff on campus, it can include an auction, or they pay for tickets to come and have a meal, but they also just dress up and they have an opportunity to maybe dance, and there's some music, and just socialize a little bit. And then keeping in touch with the community by sending out personalized emails and letters. I think this will help show members that they're valued, and they're more likely to be committed to the organization.
All right, and finally, some steps they can do on social media, I would say, is invite people to like their Facebook page. These would be their Facebook friends, members of the parent-teacher associations, and the members of these associations are listed online, as well as people who have benefited from their programming. Secondly, they should post more often on their Facebook page and make sure to include lots of visuals. Thirdly, they should create a Facebook event for each event, and invite everyone who likes the page to attend these events in creating a digital flyer for each one. And finally, they should consider hiring an unpaid intern because, like we said, the members of this group are a part of the baby boomer generation, and these type of things would be something that potentially a Pepperdine student or someone in the millennial generation would be able to do maybe a little bit easier and have a really good time doing. So if they were to hire an unpaid intern, the task they could do would be creating a content calendar, managing Facebook ads, and keeping up with electronic correspondence, which includes responding to comments and direct messages. And then finally, something that we did was apply for the mini grant to receive funding to purchase a bronze level membership at the California Lutheran Center for Nonprofit Leadership, and we just really thought that joining this community could help them in their, to overcome their difficulties of not having enough members and their members not being very active. And some of the benefits of joining this would, like I said, be joining a community of nonprofit leaders, getting access to top quality training, coaching, and support, access to cost-saving tools and templates, as well as free admission to workshops, seminars, and networking opportunities.
Thank you for listening to our presentation. We found it a really helpful experience and learned a lot from it too. So, thank you.
That'll be fun. Yeah.